How do you productize a service so that you can get more freedom in your agency, work less and earn more? That's what you'll learn today in this interview of Roy Selbach, who's running a design agency on its path to $1 million average recurring revenue. You'll discover how to productize and scale a 7-figure business, actionable ways to grow your agency and systemize it, and the best sales channels to grow your agency scalably.
All right. Hey, Julian.
All right.
How are you
Mr. Roy
today?
Selbach.
Yeah, thank you for having me over here. I was very, very happy and pleased that I got invited to join this beautiful podcast.
It's an absolute honor to have you here today, sir.
The honor is likewise because I'm talking to the guru, the legend, the link building master.
I thought you were the man, the myth, the legend of design, no?
Yeah. Oh, no, well, I think two equals met.
That's true. That's true. And humble as well. Two humble people meeting.
Very humble. That's how we should be, right?
So right now you're on the road, you're on the path to $1 million ARR, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so basically I first started out an agency in the past. I was running like a full boutique agency and I did everything. I did like web design, web development, digital marketing, SEO even. I did paid advertising, everything you could do. And at some certain point, I realized as well, like it's very, very hard to maintain operations and get like high quality service out there because you need to focus on a lot of different aspects. From there on, I actually decided, hey, I got a huge checklist. I said like, hey, this is going wrong. Like clients don't pay. Some people quit. I need to restructure the company. I need to relearn some new skills to new employees. And I got like entangled in all these activities. And you know what they say, like work on your business, not in your business. So at that point, I just made this big list and then I realized it's good to just pivot. So I was really looking at the point, where are we actually good at and what do we excel in? And then I noticed like we had like an amazing design team. They could really push out creatives in a matter of time and really high quality. And at that point, I just realized I just have to do something with it. And then I just started like full focus on graphic design, but still my list was ongoing. So I had a lot of these things like every time custom quotes, these kind of things. So I've thought of the concept, how can I make this more scalable? So I came up with an unlimited graphic design service called .jd.com. And I built basically a whole platform around it. So I productized the business.
It's pretty crazy that you built like a whole software around your business. Like it's something, I'll be honest, like I've not really had the courage to try myself because the thought of creating a SaaS kind of intimidates me, honestly. Yeah. Like, where did you get started with that?
Yeah, so it started off, I'm also a little bit multi-skilled. So I used to develop like websites myself, did some digital marketing, everything myself. And at that point, because maybe I come from an agency background, a full boutique agency, and I was doing these concepts already for other companies. So in that aspect, I already gained the experience. And that's really, that's the plus side of having a full boutique agency, is that you learn a lot of different things about a lot of different skill sets. So I just felt like, hey, let's do it. And I bootstrapped it together. The first MVP, the minimal viable product. I just used WordPress. I just used another plugin and I just hacked the code a little bit and made it around to make it more like a ticketing service where people can submit a ticket. And then with WooCommerce, it made it possible to do like a subscription based team around it. So that's how I got started, and I built a whole product, I think within 1.5 months or something. I just was grinding behind my computer, just finding my way through it. Yeah.
Just figuring out, kind of bootstrapping it a little bit, right?
Yeah, 100% bootstrapped, correct. And after that, I just pushed it out to a few clients that we are having, and everyone was super enthusiastic because our pricing range is quite low. So we start from $3.99 per month, which is relatively low. If, for example, you receive a lot of quotes for a logo quotation, 3,000 USD, or you receive like animations that need to be done. And yeah, we said like, hey, do you want to have unlimited graphic design for a flat monthly fee from starting only $3.99 per month? We said like, okay, let's try it out. And then within, I think 1 or 2 weeks, we already had like 4 or 5 people on our platform. And then I noticed as well, hey, this is something unique. And from after that, I start building it out way more. So like create more website pages, get everything done. And on the background, make sure that we had the tech in order. So developing the whole custom platform took a while. I think from start to finish, the first version took around, I think, 9 months, more or less. But in the meantime, we had the MVP, so we can still get some clients going on, get some revenue in the game. So I think that's my advice also for all the people that want to go on this path is basically first bootstrap your way into it, find what you have, rebuild something which is already out there. So in that terms, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. Because when I think about how much development costs, the UI, UX designers, you're talking about some big monies over there. Yeah, correct.
Because you can use platforms like SPP, for example, right?
Yeah.
And they'll do most of the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you can get started in the first place. And you also need to understand like the industry that you're in. So let's say we are in the design industry. So for us, yeah, like we can also work with something like that. You also have another tool called Many Request, SPP. You can even have some WordPress plugins. But if you really want to have like a customized customer experience, then you need to take it up a notch, because then there are a lot more extra revenue models available. So what we're currently even building is like a white label solution. So people can use our platform to basically outsource the work to us and then add their own logo. So it looks like they are offering a design service. And this can be really, really useful. For example, if you have a web development agency or you have a paid advertising agency, you need a lot of graphics, but you don't want to specifically focus on the creativity. You don't want to micromanage all these people and put them on the payroll. You just want to give them your platform, give them a higher price, and then just get the earnings, right?
Yeah. So like basically if you're an agency, you can white label this platform and then people come on, make purchases, and the orders go straight to you?
Yeah. So they basically purchase seats. So we're currently building that. So if someone is interested, please let me know. It's basically recurring passive income. That's how you can see it. It's like a tremendous upside for your business. I think for most agencies, it can be even like 20% of their current revenue without doing anything. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting model, definitely. What about when it comes to, people landed on your platform and they come to your website, maybe a lot of people getting started won't have any sort of brand recognition. Do you need someone involved in the sales side of things before someone just purchases straight off the website?
Yeah, so we have like 2 different plans. So we have the basic plan, which starts at $399. Then we have the premium at $115, if I'm correct. And we have like a royal plan that starts at $2,200 plus. So that really depends. So what we still notice as well, because we're like a service product, that means we basically have to still have like a call, because we're like a little bit like the hybrid, right? So 100% SaaS, you don't need a call most of the time. A service, you always need to have a call, because people really, they have their custom needs, they have their goals, they have their KPIs, etc. But we're like the hybrid version. So let's say, I think more or less 80%, we still need to have a call, because people are most of the time going for the higher ticket size, which means it's more than 1,000 USD per month. So then they need to have some connection with the company.
Yeah, that's it. I think especially when things becoming so automated and so digital, people crave that human connection, right? Especially to create trust.
Yeah, it's very important, especially for the long term, because we also notice as well, like, design is such a difficult thing. It's like you have like deadlines, you have like the creativity, you need to have like a certain layout. It's a lot of components and variables that you need to have perfectly. And then in the end, design itself is super subjective. So what I think is beautiful doesn't mean that someone else thinks it's beautiful. So it costs a lot of hands and forth to get it right. So in that terms, we sometimes have clients, they say, oh, I'm not happy. This is not how it should be. But then after on a call, we really get to know what they want and also explain our thoughts. And most of the time, all of our designers are super trained. They know pretty well what's working in the industry, especially for ads on pages as well. And some clients don't have like the background information and the knowledge to make the right decision. So after a call, they actually feel like, oh, it's actually well done, guys. This is actually really good. And they start using it, start A/B testing. And then in the end, they see like a really good result. Yeah.
A cool thing is with that, you've got this software set up, you've got the sales system set up, and it's all converting and operating smoothly.
Yeah.
So at this point, you can just scale it, run more traffic to it, get higher quality traffic to it. And it's just a case of building it up, right? And keeping the retention high.
Yep. Yeah. So for everyone who's just starting a business, the initial phase is kind of the hardest because you have to start from zero. You don't have any money or you don't have any resources. So the first thing that we've done is we created a lot of SOPs. So we have like our own portal where when people onboard, they basically just go through it and they have to follow all these documentations that we wrote there. They're quite intense and long to make sure that the quality is super good. But once you got that going on, you don't have to repeat the process. So what we love documentation. Documentation is key. So you don't have to repeat the same thing all over again and again and again and again. Yeah. Because to date, I think we have around 75 plus employees. Wow. Of course, we have some switching on and off. And in that aspect, we just, find a way to not do the same repetitive stuff anymore.
When you're managing 75 people in your team, right? How is that divided? Like, obviously, they're not all reporting to you. How do you split it up and organize it?
So I use the rule of 6. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. So basically, if you are talking to more than 6 people within your own company, you're doing something wrong. Because those 6 people, they can delegate and then get things done. And after that, those 6 people again and again. So we also work within teams. So every team has a team manager. They have account manager and they have an assistant. And then we also have like one person above that. And that's the person I actually talk to. So I don't get stuck with the nitty gritty, move the image to the left, move this to the right, or change this color to this one. So for me, I'm mainly, I have other co-founders. It's really excellent dude. He's a very nice guy, super driven, just got a twin baby and still has the energy to pump it out and to still get it going on. Yeah. He's more focused on the sales / the operational decisions. And for me, I'm more focused on the marketing part and the business. Yeah. Also business growth, but a little bit together. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Dev side. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking with your business. And, when you're building like these checklists and these SOPs, it requires like a certain type of person, right? To organize all of that, to create good systems and to make sure they're getting implemented properly too. What happens if you're not that sort of person, if you're more of a visionary, say?
Then, so that's the funny thing is then the Gregory is his name. He's more a visionary in that aspect. And I come from a marketing automation background. So I'm like half devy, half marketing guy. Yeah. So for me, I think in workflows and processes. If you check how I work, you can see all my notes, my checklists and these kind of things. So what I always say then, find your counterpart. Right. So if you notice that you are not good in a certain activity, then you need to find a supplement, an addition to that can fulfill that whole. In the end, working together works best. Like if you cannot afford it, then indeed find a co-founder. But if you can afford it, just find someone to put on your payroll who can take over those tasks. Because in the end, you only have a business, a full sustainable business when you are completely independent from it and you only make the right strategic decisions without having to like change some content on your website, writing those emails, and that stuff. But it takes years to get to that point, especially for service industry. It's not like 3-month thing or something. If you're lucky, then props up. Then you do it. Then you're doing it really, really well. But it takes some time. Yeah.
When you're building the Productize service, and let's say people come to the website, I would say there's less human interaction than most agencies because typically clients like expect a sales call or whatever to get involved in that and to customize their campaigns. How do you differentiate yourself from everyone else and like build the trust that you need to get the sales.
Yeah, so that's where the custom platform comes in handy. So we can automate everything. So we have like certain pop-ups, so like book a call right now. How is it going? We have certain triggers. If a client didn't respond to a certain request for a long time, then we have a trigger if they didn't shoot in a new request. We have a lot of like automation in place to make sure that the customer stays engaged and still has that personal touch. If not, we have also account managers available. And we actually push them to have the first onboarding call to make sure that everything goes streamlined.
That's it. So those first like 90 days especially will have the biggest impact on the client relationship, right?
Exactly. So there's this nice graph. We have a customer success team. I just picked out this graph as well. So indeed, you have the first month is the excitement phase of the client. They're so excited. They have amazing ideas. They want to do this and that. And then they have the second month, they have like the weighting down the different options. Hey, is this really going to work? Is this worth time and energy? And the third month, they're going to make a decision. So that phase we also have like highlighted as well. So everyone, we have like this air tables where we can see easily which clients are like highest priority to pamper them up a little bit, give some extra designs, shoot in a few alternatives, and really be on point on that. So indeed, the primary focus is the 3 months. And once they stay there, of course, we deliver the same service, but it goes smoother because in the end, we're partners, right? So you need to work hand in hand with the client to actually drive the best results, because it's not like, hey, I want to have this and then let it go. It's still a service. So in that way, we just find a bridge in that. Yeah. But that's why we have like certain on the platform, we have like tags, and we can see, we have like boom insight information instantly. And currently we're also working on statistics for individual designers, clients. So we can see the average response rate. We can see how many requests get delivered. We have already like a feedback score for the designers itself. So we can see which designers are doing well, which are not. And we're going to place a reward system for that. So if people are performing better, we can see that, and they actually deserve a higher reward as well. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So you'll be able to see a lot more data on your team, how they're performing, and then pick out the top performing people and reward them basically, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So that is the thing. If you develop it yourself, you can make it as wild as you want, and you actually create a product which is very valuable at the mid/end stage of your business, which you have a lot of additional models which you can apply to. Yeah.
One of the biggest things I struggle with personally, right, is that we implement tons of systems into our business, and we're always building out new SOPs, new checklists, new systems. It's hard to maintain them and make sure everyone's using them consistently. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, so for me, it's gather everything at one spot, because I love tools. And then if I could write down how many different tools I use, like I just created a YouTube channel. You can check that out as well. Like I'm just reviewing a lot of tools. But
it's a great video, by the way. That for your first video is very good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just starting out. So let's. I hope I will improve over time, but these are the first ones, though. So in that aspect, it's basically put everything at one spot, and it's always accountability. Accountability is a key word. So make one person responsible for it, and reward/punish them if they don't do it. So we have like the HR department is the sole responsibility to make sure that all the documents are there. So if, for example, we give a quarterly meeting, it's there if something is updated. But then again, especially SOPs, they keep changing all the time. Yes. I know it's kind of hard, but it's very, very hard to keep them up to date. But always think about the business value that it gives to you to keep it up to date via the efforts. And in that aspect, you don't have to like keep it up to date, because things are ever changing. If you just check it out in a certain time frame, then it should be already okay. If you only have like drastic changes or so. And one thing, what I always keep in mind when creating these SOPs, that you keep it as generic as possible in some certain way, that so you don't have to keep changing some certain aspects, right? You don't want to say, hey, press right click here, do this and that, because then you get into the deep. And what we do is also, when we have these SOPs, we also have like a call where we explain these things as well. I don't do those calls, but someone else. So all the documentation is there, and mostly they're kind of permanent. So they're like the values, the quality output, how the company is structured, these kind of things. And they're mostly pretty much the same. And then you go into the detailed stuff, and that's explained during call or while working on it, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's interesting. Just a quick question, because I know we've talked about this before. If you had to start again with business or creating your own business, would you pick an agency model, or is there something else you'd be interested in trying next?
Well, I think if you can succeed with the agency, it's very, very impressive, because there is a lot of operational hassle, and it's still a super service product. Yeah, the service. So it's kind of hard. For me, it's nice because I pivoted from being a freelancer with like zero money on my bank.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, from zero money on my bank. Yeah, and then it is the easiest way to get some money in your bank. Let's keep it that way, because clients are paying directly like a high price, and you don't need a lot of money to get it started, right? But eventually you want to grow, you want to push out more. Either you focus indeed on the agency itself, and then you can grow to a certain amount, or you use that money to reinvest into some other businesses which are more scalable and low operational wise. So for me, it depends on the situation. So at that situation with zero money in the bank, I cannot even make a different decision. Only if you got investors, but then you go through that whole circle of like pitching, finding that gold, which is hidden somewhere, right? I would not do it differently, to be honest, but I will do it more smartly. So I will focus on one specific niche. Like that's what everyone keeps saying, but I didn't know that at that time. So I keep repeating it for others that might start. Focus on one specific niche and one service. Let's say like you do it very well with link building. You primarily focus on that, because then you can specialize into that. And then, for example, if one employee falls away, you don't have to like create a lot of new things for it. Whereas if you have a web development company which also delivers digital marketing, if one dev guy falls away, then it's very hard to find someone else who can replace it. While if you have only focus on web development, you have 10 or 15 web developers, so one falls away, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like you're not just relying on one person, right? Yeah.
Plus, you also know the industry better in the end.
That's the thing. The more niche you go, the easier your marketing is, your sales process is, all the case studies you
get
create.
The killer ass landing pages set up.
That's it, and you're good to go. Yeah,
I focused YouTube content, right? So
something like that. Yeah. How do you get most of your sales now?
So we have I think it's seasonal. So we notice as well, because there's trends going on, right? So what worked really well for us in long term is like cold outreach. So we basically get around, I think, 70% of our meetings via that. Then additionally, what we do, we just pump out search intent campaigns on PPC, paid advertisement, and then we retarget them on social, because you're still a service product and there's not a direct need for it. It's very hard to bottle it down. And we are not offering more revenue. We're not offering the dream. We're more offering something that you need in your business, but don't seem to be necessary. Like whereas, for example, if you are offering a paid advertisement service or SEO service, you can say, hey, we can offer this amount of traffic in this amount of time, which generates you this amount of money. But if we say that with design, it's not that way. So the pain points are different. So the pain points are mostly like it's expensive, so you can reduce your cost, right? We can deliver faster, more creativity, but it's not as sexy as driving a $20 million in a certain amount of time and whatever. So it's harder to sell. So what we do is we focus on intent, and then we retarget them till everywhere from Pinterest, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Google Ads display, just everything was available. We just retarget them over there. And that works pretty fine for us. We set up a pretty nifty marketing funnel. So we have like a different conversion points with like quizzes. Also the platform contributes, so you can register as well. So people can register for a free account. So we get the email address. So we have an automatically growing email database as well. It goes pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're generating leads all the time from your retargeting campaign, right?
Yeah, a retargeting campaign, but also like that's the difference is normal service. You need to fill in a form, let's say a contact form or those. For us, we say create a free account and they enter in the platform, but they don't submit anything, but we still have their contact details, right? So we can do something with that. Yeah. So we pump them in a nurture stream and these kind of things. Yeah.
Nice. And we met in Bangkok, Thailand originally, right?
Yeah. In the concrete jungle.
In the big smoke.
In the big smoke. Yeah.
How do you find as an agency owner and an entrepreneur? How do you find living in Bangkok? Like you were previously in the Philippines before that, right?
Yeah. So actually, my journey into different countries. So I lived, I think, in let's say like 8 different countries or so. So I lived in the Philippines. I lived in Bali. I lived in Malaysia, Belgium, Netherlands. And then now in Thailand. And I have to say, yeah, like it's just such a shame that you say like, hey, what is the thing that you would do differently or something? So one of these things is actually move faster to Bangkok, because Bangkok price, life, quality is amazing. There's nothing that can that you can compare to it. Like living in Bali is basically the dream. You see that a lot online, that people, digital nomads, are living there. They say like, oh, $4 for this, $5 for that. But the problem with Bali is so hard to focus because life is a little bit too good. They call it the Bali trap. So once you're in there, you never want to get out. And that's actually the point where I hit zero. Because I was at the beach, I was going to beach clubs and I was going out a lot. So after a while, I just realized I need to make a change. And then I ended up randomly in Manila. From there on, I started my agency, which is low cost, right? Which worked out pretty well, but living conditions are not the most optimal over there. It's good if you know your way around those kind of things. I really enjoyed my time, but then compared to Bangkok, I think Bangkok is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great city. That's the thing. I mean, when you're in Bali, for example, I lived there too a couple of times. Like, for example, working on the beach is not as glamorous as it looks in the pictures, right?
No.
You'll have sand all over your laptop.
So for me, it's
stray dogs trying to chase you down the beach.
Yeah, it's a marketing angle. So they try to sell you the lifestyle / dream, but in reality, you cannot get things done. And they actually earn on selling you the lifestyle dream, while it's actually not that productive.
It's not, yeah.
So they're monetizing you about you thinking about the dream. That's the catch.
It's a great dream to sell, definitely, but
there are some people who done it. Like don't get me wrong, I have a lot of people who are rocking it. They're really living it. But if you have to start from zero, then I would not recommend it though. Or if you can sell the dream again.
You sell the dream to someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if I was an agency owner or freelancer listening to this and I'm starting from scratch, I have no idea how to productize my service, where to get started, what advice would you recommend? Like, what are the first steps?
The first step is actually just write down what is your expertise or what are you good at. So you need to love it. Like I used to be a graphic designer, so I know the industry quite well. Second step is actually do some research online, try to find some competitors and try to find the price point. Then see what you are aiming for. So whether that's low, medium or high, and then actually just bootstrap the one landing page is already enough, and just set one price and then set the amount of deliverables / whatever hours or how you want to fill this in, and then just rock it, right? Just rock it, press the button, press launch, go, blast it out to your friends and family, say share, like, comment, do all these things, and then see the magic happens. If most guaranteed, most probably you will land 1 or 2 clients. If you don't, then what I recommend is just posting as a madman on Facebook groups. If that doesn't work, just go basically scrape some email addresses online and just blast out to them, and then you can already make it work. So with one landing page, a beautiful idea, a dream, a vision,
dream, yeah,
and one productized service, you can already make it happen.
That's the thing. You only need a tiny funnel, right, to get started.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
So I see like people who have like one landing page and they're making like tons of money. They're doing really, really well. It's basically, you don't need to have like a lot of pages is good for SEO. It's good to get the brand experience that people visit longer on your website. But if you direct want to sell to your first, let's say 3 to 5 clients, then you don't need a lot of stuff to get going. And that's what most people do. They are thinking, oh, I want to have this, I want to have that, and they without actually selling. So just that's also one keyword that I throw in my organization as well. Always try to think pragmatically. You don't have to overcomplicate things, add a lot of features, add a lot of stuff, bells and whistles. Just focus on what is most important. So focus on that 20% that drives 80% of your revenue, right? The 20-80.
Simplicity always wins. It's like, what's the next step that's going to take me closest to that goal? I saw it with, a great example of that is WeTube, right? Sam Ovens' latest mastermind. It's like a 3-page website, but they're selling like $10,000 mastermind offers, and they're getting sales like every single month. So
impressive.
You don't need a big website to get a lot of sales and to grow.
They just push it out,
Absolutely.
right? So, and after that, you set up some automation. So for me, automations are key. So if you find a way, like after you get your clients and all, of course, don't do repetitive things all over again. Set up systems. If you work with systems and workflows, then it makes your life so much easier. I even wrote like an article on Hacker Noon about it. I will send it to you later. Like, nice. It's actually how I productize my service from start to end, right? So it's a nice one.
That's the thing, because I mean, you can easily procrastinate on creating a system or an SOP, but if you just invest 10, 20 minutes into that SOP, it's going to save you hours and hours and hours in the future, right?
Yeah, correct.
So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, Roy, how do they do that?
So I just launched a new website. It's www.royselbach.com. It's just my name, right? Other than that, of course, I highly encourage to visit .jetty.com so you can see what I've been building. Rather than that, just the YouTube channel and Instagram, I'm always available.
Nice. Yeah, and I've used your service. It's really good, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Same.